Alright guys, we have been hearing you guys in the comments and we know that you want an update on the Northstar. And today we are going to prep this thing for some big power. And first off, we're going to start by stripping all of the harness and everything off of this engine and get it down to sort of a long block. And we're going to do something that we don't always do on our junkyard engines, and that is we are going to clean this thing. Normally I don't like to go over engines with a power washer because it's a great way to get water into places where it doesn't belong. But since I plan to take this engine completely apart, I figured might as well. So let's get to work. Looks like we evicted a mouse in the center of this engine, so we'll have to get that cleaned out. But hey, cheap engines are cheap engines. Now here, yep, right there, is one of the reasons why these engines are touted as like poorly engineered engines. They put the starter in the valley here, but honestly, it's not that hard to get to. You just take 10 bolts out and a little hose clamp loose and pop the intake off and it's right there. You don't even have to like climb under the car where it might be dirty or hot. It's right there on top. You just, you know, it's right there. Frankly, I don't know why people complain about this so much. I've done it in chassis in a front wheel drive Northstar before. It's not that big of a deal. Here is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about these engines. Look at how high the port is on the valve. These things have got to flow some air. But we'll find out. You guys know there was an engine underneath all that grime? Alright guys, it took me a little bit to figure out how the timing worked on this engine, but I think I have it figured out. From doing the 4200s, they work basically every 7 links. There is a dark colored link, and you basically line that up with the timing mark. Well, on this engine, it's a little bit different. There are 3 dark colored links on the timing chain. It's a little bit hard to see there, but basically you line those 3 links up with the 3 timing marks, and it can only go on one way, and do the same thing on the other side, and you should be good to go. So now that I have the engine in a good spot, I can pop off the cylinder heads, and we can get started with our modification. Alright guys, as we go through this video, you're going to notice that I'm bringing up issues that people have with the Northstar and how we're going to address them. The first issue that I already brought up was the starter location. We're not going to do anything to address that because it's really not that big of a deal, but the next one that we're going to talk about is the cylinder head bolts. Now the Northstar is pretty well known for blowing head gaskets, and it is because of an issue with the head bolts where over time, basically the threads in the block, I guess they move, and the bolts no longer have clamping force on the heads. So just to show you guys how bad the problem can be, I'm going to take this 72,000 mile engine, and I'm going to take each bolt loose and just tell you how much torque it took to break the bolt loose using my electronic torque wrench. Alright, so I have my electronic torque wrench. Basically how it works is every time I apply torque with it, it tells me the maximum reading. So if this engine is anything like the last Northstar that I took apart, these are going to come out really easily. So let's give it a go. Pull down. Actually, these bolts appear to have a little bit of tension in them yet. All right, let me get my engine stand tightened down. I saw about 85 pounds-feet of torque there. So actually, this engine probably would have been okay for a little while. But the last one, it was like pathetically low. Either way, we are going to fix this problem right the first time, and I will show you how. Yeah, that one was about 75 pounds-feet. 88 on that one. Alright, I'm going to stop looking because at this point I think I know this engine was probably okay. The next common complaint that people have about the Northstar is that they leak oil everywhere. And based on my research, that seems to be because of the the oil distribution plate, or whatever you want to call it, that is here on the bottom of the engine. If you guys remember when I took apart the other engine, I was pretty blown away with how this whole thing was arranged. Oh wow. Whoa. Okay. Oh wow. And how we are going to address that one is we are going to put a brand new plate with brand new seals on this engine and basically stop it from leaking by putting new seals in it. Now, in order to get this plate off, unfortunately, we have to take our main bolts out of the engine. And just like the 4200s, these are prone to snap off in the block. Oh, snap one off. So I want to try a different method of removal with something called a bolt knocker. All right, basically how this works is it is like a socket attachment for your air hammer, and then you put a wrench on here and you basically hammer the thing while trying to twist it. And basically it's meant to try and break the corrosion in the block loose and knock the thing loose. So let's give it a shot. Didn't snap that one off. Didn't snap that one off. Good. All right, this is the first one I've had trouble with. Of course, it's second from last. All right, we're good. One to go. Wow, that worked fantastic. I can't wait to try this on a 4200. This might be the key to keeping the bolts whole. Wow. Not a single broken bolt. That's awesome. Alright, looks like there's still a little bit of life left in these seals, but we're going to replace it anyways just to make sure that it's good and sealed up. A lot of these passages see pressurized oil, so definitely don't want this thing leaking. Alright guys, I was fully expecting to snap at least one of these bolts off, so I preemptively got a hold of the guys at Northstar Performance, and they helped us out with a set of their main studs. So we'll get those installed, because might as well. Alright guys, while I have the engine torn down this far, I'm actually going to pop the rods and pistons out and just gap the rings, just because, you know, might as well. We've gotten away without gapping the rings on a lot of engines, and part of that is because we run E85. We plan to run E85 on this, but it's this far apart. We might as well just make sure that we don't have any issues, and it won't have any effect on the performance of the engine, so better be safe than sorry. As I commented on earlier, we didn't really have any issues with any of the head bolts on this engine. Every single bolt that I took out took about 70 to 80 pounds-feet of torque to remove from the engine. So I don't think we have the old telltale issue that the Northstars are prone to having. But since we're here, we might as well just fix it and never look back. And to do that, we are going to be using this kit from Northstar Performance, which basically has you drill out the bolt holes here to replace them with a larger thread. And then you use their patented stepped fastener that you see here. Basically, it has a larger thread on the bottom of the stud and a smaller thread on the top. And what this allows you to do is basically put a new thread in the engine, and it fixes the issues that people have with the Northstar. In our case, I don't really see any issues with the threads on this engine. They all looked fine. All the bolts still had lots of clamping force, but this should provide more clamping force on the cylinder head, which should keep the thing held down better. And that is definitely something that we want, especially since we plan to add boost. If you guys have ever used the TIC Performance half-inch head stud upgrade kit for the LS engines, this process will be very similar to that. Basically, you get a jig here in order to center and tap the holes for your studs nice and square to the block. So, without further ado, let's get this upgrade performed. Alright guys, we got the Northstar all together with all the upgraded hardware, and I just wanted to take a second to give you guys my overall impression of the products that we got from Northstar Performance. Overall, I am pretty impressed with the products. Specifically, the head stud kit was very well thought out, and it was the kind of thing that you couldn't screw up. Having experience with doing the TIC Performance half-inch head stud upgrade on the LS engines, I have to say this kit is a much better kit than that one is, just because it was much easier to do at a fast pace. Just as a, for example, the drill bit that is supplied with the kit, it is automatically set up with a little stop on here, so that you can't drill too deep, and you can just drill. You don't have to think about it. As soon as the drill stops, you're done. When we did the TIC Performance upgrade, that was not something that was as well thought out. They had you literally measure and wrap a piece of tape around the drill bit, which is a little bit kludgy, but whatever. So I would definitely say it is worth the money. For guys that are trying to fix their Northstar, there's pretty much no substitute. The only thing I would have to say that would be bad about the Northstar Performance head stud upgrade, it makes a freaking mess. As you can see, I am covered from head to toe with aluminum debris and grease and grime, and frankly, I need a shower. From here, we need to move on to getting this engine dropped into the chassis of choice, being the Fairmont Futura, getting it wired and plumbed, and getting this beast roaring to life. But for now, it is 1:15 in the morning, and I would like to go to bed, so I hope that the Northstar guys appreciate the effort that we are putting in trying to make this project happen as quickly as we can. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. All right, I'm going to bed.